November 3, 1944. Metz, France. 6:47 a.m. Private First Class Sam Reeves crouched in the ruins of what had once been a bakery, watching German positions emerge from the fog like ghosts materializing from nothing. He was 52 years old, ancient by infantry standards. Gray stubble covered his jaw. Crow's feet etched deep around his eyes. Hands that had skinned 1,000 deer now gripped an M1903 Springfield rifle with a scope mounted on top. Sam shouldn't have been here. He should have been exempt, too old, with a bum knee from a logging accident in '39. But when his county ran out of young men to draft, they started taking the old ones. Farmers. Loggers. Hunters. Anyone who could shoot. And Sam Reeves could shoot. Back in Montana, he'd been a hunting guide, one of the best. 40 years tracking elk through mountain passes, spotting whitetail in dense forest, reading terrain like other men read newspapers. He could tell you which way a buck had gone by studying bent grass. Could predict where game would appear by understanding wind, cover, and instinct. The Army had seen his marksmanship scores at basic training, near perfect even at 800 yards, and immediately assigned him to sniper school. He'd graduated in the middle of his class. Not because he couldn't shoot, he outshot men half his age, but because military sniping was different from hunting. Hunting was patient. You studied patterns. Waited for the animal to present itself. Took your shot when conditions were perfect. Military sniping was ruthless. German snipers didn't wait for perfect conditions. They created chaos, fired from unpredictable angles, used tactics Sam had never encountered in 40 years of hunting. 6 months in combat. 14 confirmed kills. 0 times Sam had seen the enemy sniper before getting shot at first. That ratio terrified him. In hunting, if you never saw your prey first, you starved. In war, if you never saw the enemy first, you died. The Germans who'd fortified Metz understood this perfectly. They'd created over 200 defensive positions throughout the city, interlocking fields of fire, pre-sighted killing zones, sniper nests positioned to cover every approach. The 5th Infantry Division had been trying to take Metz for weeks, bleeding men with every block captured. Sam's job was counter-sniper work, find German snipers, eliminate them before they killed American infantrymen. Simple in theory. Brutal in practice. The problem wasn't his rifle. The Springfield was accurate to 800 yards, more than enough range. The problem wasn't his marksmanship. Sam could hit a running coyote at 300 yards back home. The problem was German snipers saw him first. Every single time. They used a technique called double positioning, setting up 2 shooting locations 30 to 50 yards apart. They'd fire from one position, then immediately move to the second before Americans could triangulate the shot. By the time Sam aimed at the first location, the German was already shooting from the second. The math was simple and deadly. Sam needed 12 to 15 seconds to acquire a target through his scope, calculate distance, adjust for wind, and fire. German snipers needed the same time, but they were already aiming when Sam was still searching. They shot first. Always. By early November, the 5th Infantry Division had lost 23 American snipers in Metz. 23 men who were supposed to be the best marksmen in their battalions. 23 funerals. All killed the same way, shot while searching for targets they never saw. Sam's first partner had been Corporal James Bradley. October 18th. Farm kid from Nebraska who could hit a running rabbit at 200 yards. They'd worked together for 3 weeks. Bradley had 9 confirmed kills. That morning, Bradley was scanning a factory building through his scope when a German round hit him in the head. 7.92 mm Mauser. The shot came from a window 400 yards away. Bradley died instantly. Sam never even saw where the German was hiding. The enemy sniper had spotted them, aimed, and fired before either American knew they were being hunted. Sam's second partner was Private First Class Robert Chin. October 29th. Sharp eyes, steady hands, 12 confirmed kills. They'd been working together for 8 days. Chin was watching a German trench line through his scope when the shot came, hit him in the chest, punctured his lung. Chin lived for 40 minutes, drowning in his own blood while medics tried to save him. The German sniper had been concealed in rubble 350 yards away. Sam found the position after Chin died, but the German was long gone. The pattern never changed. American sniper sets up position. American sniper searches for targets through scope. German sniper, already watching, fires first. American sniper dies. Command kept sending the same orders. Stay mobile. Change positions frequently. Use concealment. But the orders didn't address the fundamental problem. By the time an American sniper found a target, German snipers had already been watching them for minutes. Had already calculated the shot. Were already pulling the trigger. Sam studied how engagements developed. He'd watched German positions through his scope, searching for movement, for muzzle flash, for anything indicating a sniper's presence. But while he was searching forward through his scope, he couldn't see what was happening behind him. Couldn't see if German snipers were watching him from different angles. Couldn't see the threats he wasn't looking at. The scope was the problem. When you looked through an 8x magnification scope, your field of view shrank to 8 degrees. You could see far, but you couldn't see wide. It was like looking through a toilet paper tube. Everything outside that narrow cone was invisible. German snipers exploited this ruthlessly. They didn't shoot from positions Americans were watching. They shot from flanking angles, positions American snipers weren't scanning. By the time an American turned to search a new sector, German snipers were already aiming. After Chin died, Sam spent 3 sleepless nights thinking about the problem. How do you see threats you're not looking at? How do you watch behind you while scanning forward? How do you survive when the enemy always spots you first? The solution came from the most unlikely place, his shaving kit. A simple mirror. 4 by 6 inches. Standard military issue. Sam realized he could mount it on his rifle to give himself peripheral vision while looking through the scope. Mount it at an angle where he could see behind him with a quick glance, without moving his head, without giving away his position. It was insane. Completely unauthorized. Modifying sniper equipment without approval could get him court-martialed. But Bradley was dead. Chin was dead. 23 American snipers were dead. Sam didn't want to be number 24. November 2nd, 1944. Night. Sam worked alone in a quiet corner on the 3rd floor of what had been a hotel before the war. Now it was rubble, shattered walls, collapsed ceilings, broken glass everywhere. The smell of smoke and cordite hung in the cold November air. From his pack, he pulled the mirror from his shaving kit. Also, electrical tape salvaged from signal wire, a knife, and wire cutters. Not precision tools, but they'd have to work. He tested different positions, holding the mirror in various spots, simulating how he'd look through the scope. Too high and he couldn't see it. Too low and it blocked his view. Too far forward and the angle was wrong. After 20 minutes of testing, he found the perfect position, mounted on the left side of the scope, angled at 45 degrees, positioned about 8 inches forward of his eye. From there, when he looked through the scope at a target, he could see the mirror in his peripheral vision. Just a glance to the left, and he could see what was behind him. His hands shook as he started the installation, not from cold, but from knowing this violated every regulation in the sniper manual. Unauthorized modifications to precision equipment. Altering military property without approval. Minimum punishment, reassignment. Maximum, dishonorable discharge. But Chen's face kept appearing in his mind. Chen gasping for air, blood bubbling from his chest, dying slowly. Chen had been watching forward when the German shot him from the side. If Chen had been able to see that flanking angle, he might still be alive. The installation took 40 minutes. His fingers kept slipping. The mirror kept sliding. Twice it fell, clattering against the floor, and his heart pounded. If anyone heard, if an officer investigated, he'd face immediate charges. Finally, the mirror held. He tested it, looked through the scope like he was aiming at a target. glanced left. The mirror showed the view behind him, the doorway, the hallway, everything in his rear arc. It worked. Sam ran the tape around the mirror frame 3 more times, securing it tight. Tested the rifle's balance. The mirror added maybe 4 ounces, negligible weight. Checked scope alignment, still perfect. The modification looked crude. Obviously not factory equipment. Any officer who inspected the rifle would see it immediately. But Sam didn't plan on letting officers inspect his rifle. He'd keep it in its case. Take it out only for missions. Hope nobody noticed. He cleaned up the tape scraps, put away his tools. It was 2:45 a.m. In 5 hours, he'd be moving to a new position in the destroyed industrial district. German snipers controlled that sector. 3 American snipers had died there in the past week. Tomorrow, Sam would test whether a simple mirror, the kind used by hunters to watch their back trail for pursuing game, could change his odds of survival in a war where being invisible meant staying alive. November 3, 1944. 6:47 a.m. The destroyed bakery. Sam settled behind his rifle in the corner room on the 2nd floor. The bakery's old brick oven provided cover. A crack in the wall gave them a narrow view of the German-held factory complex 400 yards away. His new partner was Private Eddie Martinez, 19 years old, from Texas, a sniper for only 3 weeks. 0 kills, but good instincts. Martinez had noticed the mirror on Sam's rifle that morning and asked what it was for. Survival, Sam had answered. Martinez didn't ask more questions. The morning fog was lifting. Sam could see the factory emerging from the gray, broken windows, collapsed sections, piles of rubble. Somewhere in that wreckage, German snipers were waiting. Sam pressed his eye to the scope. The 8x magnification brought the factory into sharp focus. He started scanning left to right, slow, methodical, looking for movement, for anything that indicated a sniper position. His field of view through the scope was narrow, about 50 feet at 400 yards. Everything outside that cone was invisible. That's what killed Bradley and Chin. They'd been looking through their scopes, focused on one sector, blind to everything else. But now Sam had the mirror. While scanning through the scope, he could see the mirror in his peripheral vision. The mirror showed the street behind him, the ruined buildings across the way, his flank approaches. It wasn't perfect coverage, but it was better than being completely blind to his rear. At 7:23 a.m., Sam spotted movement in the factory. 3rd floor. Damaged window. Something dark moved behind the frame. Could be a sniper. Could be debris shifting. He watched. Held his aim steady. The movement came again, definitely human. A German soldier, careful, slow. Probably a sniper setting up position. Sam calculated the distance, 410 yards. Wind was calm. Easy shot. He was about to take it when he saw something in the mirror. Just a flicker of movement. Behind him. Across the street. A building they'd already cleared last night. Sam kept his eye on the scope but shifted his attention to the mirror, watched the reflection. 3rd floor window. Something moved. A German sniper. Sam could see the rifle barrel and the mirror's reflection. See the scope glint. The German was aiming directly at Sam's position. Had probably been watching him for several minutes. Was probably about to fire. This was exactly how Bradley died, focused on a target ahead, killed by a sniper from a flanking angle he never saw. But Sam saw it. The mirror showed him the threat. He didn't move. Didn't turn his head. Didn't give any indication he'd spotted the German. Just kept his rifle aimed at the factory while whispering to Martinez. German sniper. Building behind us. 3rd floor. Left window. He's aiming at us right now. Martinez moved slowly, pulled his M1 Garand into position, aimed toward the building behind them, found the window. Saw the German sniper. I see him, Martinez whispered. On my count, Sam said. I'll take the one in the factory. You take the one behind us. 3, 2, 1. Sam fired. The Springfield cracked. 410 yards. The German in the factory jerked backward, hit in the chest. He fell out of view. Martinez fired. The Garen's .30-06 round punched through the window frame behind them. The German sniper slumped forward. Dead. 2 shots. 2 kills. 5 seconds total. Sam worked the Springfield's bolt, ejected the spent casing, loaded another round, scanned through the scope again. The mirrors showed no more threats behind him. They were clear. Martinez was breathing hard, adrenaline pumping. "That German was about to shoot you," he said. "He had you dead. How did you see him?" Sam showed Martinez the mirror, explained how it worked. Martinez stared at it for a long moment, then said, "You need to put that on every sniper rifle in the battalion." The engagement that morning lasted 4 hours. Sam's team eliminated 6 German snipers. Sam got 4. Martinez got 2. Every kill followed the same pattern. Sam would spot a target through his scope, but before taking the shot, he'd check the mirror. 3 times, the mirror revealed German snipers trying to flank them from positions Sam wasn't watching. Each time, Martinez engaged the flanking threat while Sam took the forward target. The coordination worked flawlessly. The mirror gave them 360-degree awareness. German snipers couldn't ambush them because Sam could see them coming. By afternoon, word had spread through the sniper teams. Sam's team had eliminated 6 Germans without taking casualties. Other teams wanted to know how. Martinez told them about the mirror. By evening, 3 more snipers wanted the modification. That night, Sam installed the first mirror on Sergeant Frank Wilson's rifle. Wilson was 28, from Montana, a hunter before the war. He'd lost 2 partners in 3 weeks, both killed by flanking shots they never saw coming. Wilson watched Sam work, asked questions about the angle, the positioning, the attachment method. When Sam finished, Wilson tested it, looked through the scope, glanced at the mirror. "It's perfect," Wilson said. "I should have thought of this myself." "What do I owe you?" "Nothing," Sam replied. "Just don't get killed. That's payment enough." The next morning, Wilson's team engaged German snipers near the cathedral. Wilson spotted 2 Germans using the mirror, eliminated them before they could fire. He came back raving about how the modification saved his life, told every sniper he knew. By November 8th, Sam had installed mirrors on 9 rifles. The modification spread sniper to sniper, team to team. Some snipers made their own mirrors using whatever reflective material they could find: broken glass, polished metal, even pieces of chrome from destroyed vehicles. The mirrors didn't need to be perfect. They just needed to reflect. The battalion's kill ratio shifted dramatically. In October, American snipers in Metz lost 2 men for every German eliminated. By mid-November, the ratio was 4-1 in American favor, 4 German snipers killed for every American lost. Captain Robert Hayes commanded the battalion's sniper platoon. Hayes was career Army, 12 years in service, knew every sniper manual by heart. On November 10th, he did an inspection of the sniper teams, standard procedure, checking equipment, verifying zeros, ensuring rifles were combat ready. He climbed up to Sam's position, saw the mirror attached to the Springfield. Stopped. Stared at it for a long time. Then asked, "What is that?" Sam's stomach dropped. This was it. Caught. Court-martial. Everything he'd feared since installing the first mirror. Martinez spoke up before Sam could answer. "It's a mirror modification, sir. Helps snipers see flanking threats. Saved our lives multiple times this past week. Completely unauthorized, but proven effective in combat." Hayes asked who authorized it. "Nobody, sir," Martinez said. "We did it ourselves. No, it's against regulations, but it works." Hayes examined the mirror closely. Tested the angle. Looked through the scope, then glanced at the mirror. Understood immediately what it did. He asked Sam, "How many rifles have this modification?" "9, sir. Including mine." Hayes looked at him, then said something Sam never expected. "By tomorrow morning, I want every sniper rifle in this battalion to have one." "That's an order." I'll handle the paperwork. You focus on keeping my men alive. Sam stood there, stunned. Hayes had just made the modification official. Protected Sam from charges. More than that, Hayes understood the mirrors were saving lives, and he was willing to break regulations to save more. That night, Sam worked faster than ever. He recruited other snipers, showed them how to install mirrors, taught them the positioning, the angle, the attachment method. Some mirrors were mounted with tape. Others used wire. One sniper used leather straps from a gas mask. The methods varied, but the principle stayed the same: give snipers peripheral vision while looking through their scopes. By November 12th, every sniper in the battalion had a mirror. The modification was no longer a secret. It was standard equipment. German snipers noticed the change almost immediately. Intelligence reports from November mentioned unusual American sniper behaviors. Americans were engaging German flanking positions they shouldn't have been able to see, were counterattacking before German snipers could fire, were somehow aware of threats outside their scope's field of view. German sniper commanders tried to adapt. They started using longer-range positions, attacking from 600 to 800 yards instead of 400. But American snipers with mirrors could still detect movement at those ranges. The mirrors showed flanking threats regardless of distance. Some German snipers tried attacking from multiple positions simultaneously, hoping to overwhelm American awareness. But mirror-equipped snipers working in pairs could cover all angles. One sniper watched forward, the other watched the mirror. Nothing got past them. By late November, German snipers in Metz were avoiding engagements with American sniper teams. The tactical advantage had shifted. Americans could see threats coming, could counterattack before German snipers fired, could survive engagements they should have lost. One captured German sniper, interrogated on November 28, made a remarkable statement. "The Americans have changed. Before, we could kill them easily. They never saw us first. Now they see everything. They shoot at positions we haven't even occupied yet. It's as if they have eyes in the backs of their heads." He wasn't far from the truth. The modification never became officially sanctioned by the Army during the war. A training inspector noticed the mirrors in December 1944, wrote a report. The report circulated through Army Command for weeks while officers debated how to handle it. On one hand, the modification violated regulations, unauthorized changes to precision equipment. On the other hand, it was working. Sniper teams using mirrors had significantly better survival rates and higher kill ratios. In January 1945, an evaluation team from Aberdeen Proving Ground came to Metz. 3 officers, 2 civilian ballistics experts. They inspected the mirrors, tested them, interviewed snipers, measured the field of view improvement, calculated the tactical advantage. Their conclusion: the mirrors provide a significant survivability enhancement. Should be integrated into sniper doctrine. But they wanted to redesign the system, use manufactured mirrors instead of salvaged materials, create standardized mounting brackets, turn the field improvisation into proper military equipment. The team wrote a formal recommendation, submitted it to Army Ordnance. They suggested that all sniper rifles be fitted with peripheral mirrors. Made it sound like they discovered the innovation. Sam's name never appeared in the documentation. Neither did Martinez's. Neither did Hayes's. The official record would show that Army evaluators identified a sniper visibility problem and developed a mirror solution. Hayes tried to correct this. He wrote letters, submitted after-action reports, made sure Sam's name was in every document from the battalion. But those reports got lost in military bureaucracy. The evaluation team's version became official. Sam learned about this in February 1945. An officer showed him the documentation, asked if he wanted to file a complaint. Sam said no. He didn't care about credit. He cared that snipers were surviving. That partners weren't dying from shots they never saw coming. The mirror had done its job. That was enough. May 8, 1945. Victory in Europe Day. The war ended. Sam Reeves had survived 11 months of combat. 47 confirmed kills. The mirror had saved his life at least 6 times. 6 times he'd spotted German snipers trying to flank him. 6 times he'd eliminated them first. Martinez survived too. 14 confirmed kills. After the war, he went back to Texas, became a police officer in Houston. He kept a photograph of Sam's rifle with the mirror on his desk for 30 years. Every year on November 3rd, the day the mirror first saved their lives, Martinez called Sam, thanked him for installing it, told him he wouldn't have survived Metz without it. Wilson also survived. 31 confirmed kills. The mirror saved him 4 times. He returned to Montana after the war, became a hunting guide. Sometimes he'd tell clients about the mirror modification, about how a desperate old hunter had figured out how to see threats he wasn't looking at, about how that simple trick had saved lives. Sam stayed in the Army until 1946, then went home to Montana. He worked as a hunting guide again, same work he'd done before the war. Same mountains, same trails, same quiet life, tracking elk through passes and reading the forest like a book written just for him. He married in 1947, a schoolteacher named Ruth who'd waited for him through the war. They had 3 children. Sam lived quietly, never talked much about combat. When people asked, he'd say he was a sniper. That's all. He didn't mention the mirror modification. Didn't mention saving dozens of snipers. Didn't mention changing how American snipers fought. It wasn't modesty. He just didn't think it mattered anymore. By the 1960s, the mirror modification had been mostly forgotten. New sniper scopes had better optics. Some had integrated peripheral indicators. But nobody remembered that the concept started with a piece of shaving mirror taped to a Springfield in Metz. The official Army history of sniper operations never mentioned Sam Reeves. The training manuals credited improved optics and better tactics. Sam's contribution had been erased, not intentionally, just through bureaucratic process. Field modifications weren't historically significant. Official developments were. In 1987, a military historian researching sniper innovations found references to improvised mirrors in November 1944 maintenance logs. The logs mentioned Private First Class Reeves. The historian spent months tracking down veterans from that unit, found Martinez. Martinez told him the whole story, about Bradley dying, about Chin dying, about Sam installing the mirror, about how it spread through the battalion, about how it saved lives. The historian found Sam through veteran registries. Sam was 67 years old, still living in Montana, still guiding hunters through the mountains he knew better than any man alive. The historian asked if he'd installed the mirrors. Sam said yes. Asked why the historian cared about something that happened 40 years ago. The historian said, based on survival rate improvements in units that used mirrors versus units that didn't, the modification probably saved between 40 and 60 American sniper lives between November 1944 and May 1945. Sam said he'd never counted. He just remembered Martinez and Wilson and the others who came back. That was enough. The historian published his findings in 1989. Small article in a military history journal. Described the mirror modification, credited Sam, included interviews with Martinez and Wilson. The article reached maybe 1,500 readers, mostly academics, veterans, history enthusiasts. Sam received 4 letters after the article published. One from a sniper who'd used the mirror in Germany. Said it saved his life twice. One from a widow whose husband had been a sniper in Metz. She'd never known about the mirrors. Learning about them 40 years later gave her comfort, knowing someone had tried to keep her husband alive. One from a military equipment designer who wanted to know if Sam had ever patented the concept. Sam hadn't. Didn't even know you could patent military modifications. One from a college student writing a thesis on field innovations in World War II. Asked if he could interview Sam. Sam declined. Said there wasn't much to tell, just an old hunter who got scared and tried something desperate. Captain Hayes visited Sam in 1992. They hadn't seen each other in 45 years. Talked for hours about Metz, about the snipers they'd lost, about the ones they'd saved. Hayes said he tried for years to get Sam recognized, written letters, filed reports. Nobody cared. Too much time had passed. Sam said he didn't need recognition. He had Martinez alive. Had Wilson alive. Had 40 others alive. That was recognition enough. Hayes asked Sam something he'd always wondered. How did you think of it? The mirror? Sam smiled. I've been a hunter my whole life. When you're tracking dangerous game, grizzly, mountain lion, you learn to watch your back trail. Can't always turn around or you'll spook what you're tracking. So you use reflective surfaces. Water. Ice. Polished metal. Anything that shows you what's behind you. You learned that hunting? Learned it from my grandfather, Sam said. He was a trapper. Told me, the animal you don't see is the one that kills you. That's true for game. Turned out to be true for German snipers too. Samuel Reeves died on June 7, 2001. He was 79 years old. His obituary mentioned his service in World War II as a sniper. Did not mention the mirror modification. Did not mention that he'd saved dozens of lives. Did not mention that he changed how American snipers fought in Europe. His funeral was small. Family, a few friends, for men Sam didn't know well. They introduced themselves after the service. Snipers, men whose lives had been saved by the mirror modification. They'd read about Sam's death in veterans' newsletters, wanted to pay respects, wanted his family to know what he'd done. Sam's children learned the full story that day. Learned their father had installed mirrors on sniper rifles. Learned those mirrors had saved lives. Learned he'd done it without authorization, risking court-martial. Learned he'd never talked about it because he didn't think it mattered. One of the snipers, a man named Gordon, 76 years old, leaning on a cane, told Sam's son, "Your father saved my life in December 1944. I was 20 years old, scared out of my mind, and a German sniper had me in his sights. I saw him in the mirror your father installed on my rifle. Saw him before he fired. Got my shot off first. I went home. Got married. Had 4 kids. 8 grandchildren now. None of them would exist if your father hadn't figured out that mirror trick." Sam's son asked. "Did you ever thank him?" Gordon nodded. "Wrote him a letter in 1946. He wrote back. Said he was glad I made it home. Said that's what mattered. Didn't want thanks. Just wanted us to live." Today, Sam Reeves' story exists in fragments. Maintenance logs in the National Archives. Interview transcripts in a 1989 journal article. A paragraph in a book about sniper modifications published in 1994. Most people who study World War II snipers have never heard of him. But if you visit the Infantry Museum at Fort Benning, Georgia, you can see an M1903 Springfield from World War II in a display case. Mounted on the scope is a small rectangular mirror, 4 by 6 inches, metal frame, crude tape mounting. It's labeled, "Field Modification, common in late 1944. Provided peripheral vision for snipers." No name attached. That mirror is Sam's legacy. Not the official one. The real one. The one that mattered to Martinez and Wilson and the 40 others who survived because an old hunter from Montana broke regulations to save his partners. That's how innovation actually happens in war. Not through committees or training manuals. Through soldiers who see problems and fix them. Who don't wait for authorization. Who risk everything because their friends are dying and they can't stand watching anymore. Sam installed the mirror to save Martinez. That mirror saved dozens. And for 40 years, nobody outside a small circle of snipers even knew his name. But the men who lived because of that mirror, they knew. Martinez knew. Every November 3rd, he called to say thank you. Wilson knew. He told clients about it for decades. Gordon knew. He named his firstborn son Samuel, after the old hunter who'd saved his life with a piece of glass and some electrical tape. The lesson isn't just about mirrors or snipers or World War II. It's about how the most important contributions often come from the most unlikely people. Sam wasn't young. wasn't a trained engineer, wasn't a military theorist. He was a 52-year-old hunting guide who'd spent his life watching his back trail for predators, who understood that survival meant seeing threats before they saw you, who applied 40 years of hunting wisdom to a problem that was killing trained snipers. The Army's sniper school never taught the mirror technique. Military doctrine never addressed peripheral awareness during scope use. Expert marksmen who trained for months never thought of it. But an old hunter did. Because he'd learned it tracking grizzlies in Montana, where one mistake meant death, where you survived by seeing everything, not just what you were looking at. In 2019, a researcher at the Army Sniper School discovered Sam's story. She was studying historical innovations in sniper tactics, found the 1989 journal article, tracked down surviving records from Metz. She proposed adding the mirror modification to the curriculum, not the physical mirror. Modern optics had made it obsolete, but the principle, always maintain peripheral awareness, never become tunnel-visioned on your target, use whatever tools necessary to see threats outside your primary field of view. The proposal was approved. Starting in 2020, every sniper trainee at Fort Benning learns about the Reeves principle, named after Sam, finally credited 75 years after he taped a mirror to his rifle in a destroyed bakery in France. The instructors tell the story: old hunter, desperate situation, unauthorized modification, saved dozens of lives. They tell students that the best innovations don't come from experts following doctrine. They come from people who see problems differently because they learned different lessons before the war. Sam would have been 98 years old in 2020. He never knew they named a principle after him. Never knew his mirror modification would be taught to every American sniper decades after his death. But he wouldn't have cared about that either. He would have cared that snipers were learning to watch their backs. That young soldiers were being taught to see threats they weren't looking at. That fewer partners would die because someone wasn't paying attention to their flanks. That was always the point. Not recognition. Not credit. Just keeping people alive. One man. One mirror. One desperate attempt to save his partner. And from it, a ripple that changed sniper doctrine, saved dozens of lives during the war, and continues teaching soldiers 75 years later that sometimes the best weapon isn't the one in your hands. Sometimes it's a simple piece of glass that shows you what you're not looking at. And sometimes the most important innovations come from old hunters who learned to survive by watching for the bear behind them while tracking the elk ahead.